Hey everyone, it's Victor here, and welcome to scotTRANS. Today we are talking about our childhood experiences in primary school. I feel like I don't have much to say about my primary school experience just because I don't really remember a lot of it. A lot of it's very broken up, and I suppose it was so long ago that I don't really have a clear memory of my full experience of what primary school was like. But I do remember some little tells and experiences that I had, which obviously hinted at me being trans. But I think it's really important to remember that at the time I was growing up, I didn't know that trans people existed, and probably none of the kids in my year knew they existed either. Like, we weren't taught about trans people. We didn't, honestly, when I say I didn't know they existed, I really did not know. I didn't know that was a thing. I just thought, well, everyone's saying I'm a girl, so that must mean I'm a girl, so I just gotta kind of do what the other girls do. That is honestly how I experienced most of my early life. And I wasn't brought up in a household that was very gendered, or kind of like, you know, we didn't really, you know, work to stereotypes of gender. It wasn't like that. But you cannot escape that at school. School is one of the most gendered places, and it is a pretty toxic environment for kids to be brought up in. I mean, especially at the time I was being brought up. And I say that, it's like I was bloody born in the 1800s. I mean, that's not the case, you know, but a lot of the progress for trans people has kind of only really been in the past kind of like couple of years. It's kind of nuts how fast it's all gone since even when I was at school. But yeah, basically going back to what I was like at school, I just felt forced to fit into the role of being a girl. But I didn't really act like a stereotypical girl, as you can imagine. It is a bit complicated because I have always liked dressing up and looking interesting and different, and I think that would have always been the case even if I was born cis. But in school it was clear that something wasn't quite right, and there was definitely little things in my primary school years. Like, for example, I remember a time vividly when my mum got me a new summer dress. You know those dresses you used to get where they're like checkered, you know, blue and white checkered summer dresses that would be given to all the girls, and you know, like, that would be expected of you to wear them in summer. It was just this kind of like weird thing. I don't know if you had that at school, but I remember being given my first summer dress for the first time and looking at it on the hanger going like, oh, it's quite pretty pattern, quite like that, it's nice, and you know, the other girls look nice wearing them, so like, yeah, cool. And then I remember putting it on and looking in the mirror and just feeling so wrong, even at that age, just like, no. It's like, yeah, I liked it when it was on the hanger, cool, looks nice, but on me, it was just this like weird experience. Like, even at that age, I felt like I just looked like a drag queen, which is weird. And obviously everyone else was kind of saying like, oh no, you look great and you look so pretty and stuff, but it was just like this horrible, uncomfortable, just wrong feeling, which was obviously early dysphoria. But you know, back then, I did not think that's what it was. I just thought, oh my god, I'm so ugly. I am so ugly. This is ridiculous. Like, throughout nearly all my school life, I just thought, I am the ugliest girl in the whole world. But it wasn't that, it's just that I was never a girl. But at that point, it was just like, oh god, yeah. So I was very insecure about my looks, because I've always had a very kind of androgynous, masculine face, which is interesting, and obviously I'm very thankful for that now. Back then I was very insecure about it because people used to make fun of me and say I was ugly, and you know, in comparison to girls in my year, I was sort of, you know, outcast because I was being compared to them as a girl. So yeah, a lot of it was just weird, kind of that underlying dysphoria that was just sitting there. I remember another time, quite vividly, where I got my hair cut quite short for the first time, and I don't mean really short, I mean it was like a kind of bob, it was about to here. And it had always been a thing where my hair had grown out very long. I had very, very long hair for most of my life, but this was the first time I'd had my hair cut short, and I think I was in about primary 3. Actually, no, tell a lie, I had short hair when I was much, much younger, but I mean like in terms of school, I always had my hair long. So when I started school, I had my hair long, but basically cut it short, primary 3. And I remember being at home and looking at it in the mirror and being like, I think I look really good. Yeah, I think I look, quite suit that. Yeah, it's nice. And then going into school and being completely bullied for it. And at that time, it wasn't fashionable for girls to have short hair. And, you know, like nowadays, that's like a really cool thing, you know. But at that time, it was just like, because everyone was seeing me as a girl, everyone just laughed at me. And, like, literally, I remember walking in and the entire class laughing at me as I walked in with this short hair. And that was seared on my mind, because I've always been someone that is terrified of being disliked by people, and, you know, I hate social drama. I hate people, like, disliking me for one reason or another. And even at that age, that was the case. So I remember just being, like, so mortified and just wishing I hadn't cut it and waiting for it to grow out, because I didn't want people to bully me anymore. And so I grew it out, and I grew my hair out continuously from that day, basically. And it grew down. I could sit on it. It was like, you know, it was kind of like a sort of trauma thing that I kind of hid behind my hair. It was a kind of, you know, safety blanket almost. But yeah, it's hard to kind of say, because a lot of it was just very underlying feelings. But it's because I didn't know that trans people existed. But I think when I was younger, I felt like a little boy. I felt like the little queer boy. Obviously I fancied the other boys, so I would have been more made fun of for that if I was cis than because I'm trans. People never thought. I was like, oh, you know, you can fancy all the boys you like, and I'm just like the secret boy hiding in all the boys, just like. So that was quite good. But yeah, a lot of my early kind of primary school experiences of being trans is just kind of feeling like I was different, but just not knowing why or how I was different, just feeling like not part of the group at all, just not being able to fit in, being placed in groups that I didn't want to be placed in, and having to use the girls' bathroom, and just being very aware of the kind of binary system that I'd been placed in. But I hope schools continue to get better. I hope that now the experience for primary school kids is better than what it was that when I was primary school. But if you have more recent experience of being at primary school and you're watching this video, please tell me what it's like, because I'd be really interested to hear how it's changed since I was at school, which was like 16 years ago or something. Probably more than that. I'm not very good at maths or numbers, but yeah, a long time ago. I think underneath the kind of social pressure to present as a girl, I think I just always felt like a boy. And I consider my childhood kind of that of a very confusing one, but still a very valid boy's childhood. But for me, the dress thing stands out the most, having to wear dresses that I didn't want to wear. I always felt very uncomfortable in dresses. And it was nice that we got to wear trousers and jumpers most of the time at my school. We weren't forced to wear skirts, which was a blessing, because I probably would have, like, died. That day where I wore that summer dress, I literally got to school, I cried because I felt so uncomfortable, and I hated my legs being all exposed, and I just looked so wrong in the mirror. I remember crying and looking in the mirror when I was at school and begging to be taken home so I could change. And I changed and got back to school, but everyone thought that was very strange. But obviously now I'm looking back and I'm like, you poor boy. But yes, please tell me your primary school experiences if you have any memorable ones. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I am now a month on T. Well, I'm going to be a month on T tomorrow, but I'm filming this video on the 22nd, so this video will go out on the Sunday. So yeah, many crazy dates or whatever. But yes, I am now a month on T, which is so exciting, and I will have probably made my month on T video by now, so I'll put a link to that in the description. And you can go watch that if you like. I could put it at the end of this video, actually, or in the description. Whatever, it'll be one of those. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next Sunday.